Hi and welcome back to my channel. At the same time, you should watch this video first. You saw the previous video, and secondly, after at least 6 months you took a backtest on the chart. After that you slowly and continuously watched the videos and content. Due to the large amount of content on the market and the depth of the market, we try to teach the market in small and separate formats. At least for each article or strategy, there may be 2 or more methods, which I deeply try to express in a more clear and general way, and briefly emphasizing the principle of step by step. It should be noted that I apologize for speaking English because I am a non-English speaker and I use all my power to convey the concepts in my free time and away from the market. I even researched about YouTube and how the channel works for a few days without any problems. Well, let's go to the lesson. The second method about seasons. Number 1. Asia's relationship with yesterday low New York. 85% do not disagree with New York. You must have reached these results according to the previous video with the experiment. Type A. If there is a trend, it has 2 states. 1. If there is a strong trend with a lot of movement, it slows down in the Asian season and has less movement. Even though the Asian season is long, there is a weak divergence. This trend continues in strong Asia. And 2. Always the second option in any strategy is range, even if it is the strongest strategy in the world. 3. If the trend in Asia returns, it means violation of strategy and opposition. And type B in Asia. Range. Because of the settlement yesterday, most of us in New York Times are the only ones who witness the overlap or range. We agree on range with range in Asia. Type C. Sideways range. 1. Continuation of that sideways. 2. Sharp movements up or down. Type D. Trend to correction above 50%. 1. We expect the trend to enter range in Asia. 2. Continuation of correction above 50% yesterday. Type E. Trend to range. It is the most important schematic, and apparently because we expect a return, it is a kind of a position, but because it is predictable and clear, we express it as agreement in the strategy. 1. The return of the process. 2. Continue range, because the market considers this point sufficient. We see 15% opposition between these 2 captures. 2. London's relationship with Asia. Type A. Trend. There are 2 modes if there is movement. Continuation the trend, or if the movement of Asia is less than 100 pips. In most cases, London will continue it until it is completed. 2. Range. Type B. Range. Continuation of range but with an increase in the range of fluctuation. Type C. Sideways range. 1. Continuation of sideways. 2. Turning into sharp movements up or down, but in sharp movements the most reliable mode is sideways after 2 seasons. These movements are seen more in the common market season. The next type, trend to correction above 50%. 1. range, and 2. Continuation of correction. Type F, trend to range. 1. Return due to the price target. 2. Getting into range. And 3. Common market relationship with London. Type A, trend. Number 1. More or less mostly New York continues it. There is still the possibility of range. And 2. If London's trend has been taken from Asia and London has continued this trend by agreeing with Asia, because New York is a staunch opponent of Asia today, it will oppose and reverse the trend, or if it is going to continue the trend in New York first, with a move sharp has announced his opposition to Asia and then continues the process in line with today. This strategy of New York's opposition to Asia is characterized by over 80% in the trends taken in Asia. I emphasize again that in this market, the possibilities of numbers and percentages for strategy are only to show their importance, and you only need to practice to understand the market, because the market has nothing to do with schematics, nor candles, nor the amount of games in the season. Rather, it is the price target that must be set by the continuous at a certain time. Perhaps this was the most important point in this video. Type C, range. Continuation of range with increasing range. Let's remember that the highest capital per day is related to this season. Type C, sideways. Due to the high capital pressure in the common market season, after sideways we expect a sudden evacuation. Type D, the trend to range. We expect a return, and the second and weaker stage may be range. And the next type E, or an example. We have had a trend in Asia and it was completed in London, and after hitting the target it entered range and returned. This strengthens the continuation of the return due to the price target and also New York's opposition to Asia. Type F. Asia has a trend and the whole of London is in range. That is, London has no desire to continue the price in line with Asia, and the strongest option is to return. Type G. Asia is range and the whole of London is range. That is, despite the price target, the market has no desire to return, and in New York we expect the trend to continue in the direction of Asia. Number 4. Long New York relationship with common market. Exactly. The same schematics also work well for it. But the best strategy for New York is to only respect the selling and floor of the common market this season. It means that New York has the highest respect only for the previous season, and if it is necessary to correct it, it is within the high and low range of this season and about 78% respect for the season older than itself. And if on the days when it decides to continue the market in line with the target, if there is a price, the market can continue, or if it is a common sideways market season and there is a lot of movement, it can be transferred to the New York season alone. In another stage, the most respect for this season is the share of the touch, selling or corrective floor in the previous season, and the continued movement is in line with the agreement with the common market season. Another most common strategy is to continue the trend of Asia by the chapters of London and the common market and return and move the opposition to New York. At last, number 5, 15% opposition, but the discussion of objection and violation of 50%. The market is practically an understanding, and I said before that by defining this format and schematics or strategy as a weapon, we intend to reduce the mistakes and increase the victory in these possibilities. And the only secret of the market is to practice and see it a lot. Type 1. An unpredictable situation occurs. 2. Schematic or behavior of New York is not clear. And after specifying high and low, the whole of Asia moves inside the roof and ceiling of New York. Type 3. There was a lot of movement and return in New York yesterday, and Asia is only in the direction of correction or returning yesterday. Type 4. Parental consent. New York is like the strong father of the market, which is the main decision maker, and London is the second power in the market as the mother of the market, and weak Asia is the child. When there is a trend in New York and Asia does the opposite, the mother market at the end of Asia returns the trend in line with the father to the starting point. He practically agreed with his wife and at the same time did not disagree with his child. This is a type of market and understanding the influence of power brokers in the market. Practice. See a lot the chart and review at least 6 months.